100,000 years ago, Africa was a world both familiar and alien. The great savannas stretched endlessly, seas of golden grass bending beneath the wind. From a distance, the land looked timeless, eternal, but to those who lived upon it, every hour was a struggle. The plains were alive with movement. Herds of antelope, zebra, and wildebeest grazed in constant migration. Giraffes stretched their long necks high into the acacia trees. Elephants, massive and unstoppable, reshaped the land as they passed, tearing down branches, crushing pathways into the soil, opening up the savanna for everything that followed. It was a land of abundance, but abundance came at a price. Predators ruled these plains. Lions moved silently in the tall grass, their roars shaking the night. Leopards, solitary and unseen, stalked from the trees, their kills dragged into branches beyond reach. Hyenas, cunning and relentless, prowled in packs, their eerie laughter echoing through the darkness. Crocodiles haunted the rivers, their eyes barely breaking the surface, striking without warning. And beyond these familiar animals lived giants now lost to time. Buffalo larger than cars, antelope heavier than a ton, predators that no longer exist in our world. To the early humans, they were not ancient creatures. They were neighbors, threats, and sometimes prey. Into this world walked Homo sapiens, our species, US. But these were not humans as we know them now. Their lives were short, brutal, fragile. Groups were small, no more than a few dozen at most. They were nomads, moving constantly across the land, following herds, seeking water, escaping danger. There were no permanent homes, no villages, no farms. Every day was survival. Every night was fear. And yet, these fragile bands endured because they had tools, they had memory, they had cooperation, and though they could not know it, they carried within them the spark of something more, the potential to shape the destiny of an entire species. This is the story of one such band. 11 souls, fragile in number, but immense in meaning. Through them, we glimpse what it meant to live in a world before civilization, to fight for survival not with cities and armies, but with stone and fire. This is their story. This is our story. This is the story of the first fire. The tribe was small, just 11 people, yet in each of them lay the key to survival. At their center was Korah, about 40 years old. In this world, he was an elder. His cheek bore the scar of an old wound, perhaps from a lion's claw, perhaps from a desperate fight with another man. He carried no crown, no throne. His authority was not given, but earned. Every scar, every story, every memory made him chief. Beside him was Tarek, 28, the hunter. His body was lean, weary, built for distance rather than strength. In his hand, he carried the tribe's greatest weapon, the spear, a simple tool, wood tipped with stone, bound by resin and sinew, yet a miracle of its time. For Tarek, the spear was not just a tool, it was survival itself. Further back stood Aru, 19, younger, restless, his gaze wandered more than most. While others fixed their eyes on prey or danger, Aru looked at clouds, at stars, at the shapes of animals. His spear felt awkward in his hands, but in his mind, questions burned. Anthropologists believe that such curiosity may have been the seed of culture, the first flicker of imagination in a dangerous world. Naya, 36, crouched with her basket and stone tools. She was healer, gatherer, keeper of memory. Around her neck hung a necklace of bones and beads, not decoration, but symbol, perhaps even ritual. She knew which plants fed, which cured, which poisoned. In her mind was knowledge far older than her years, passed from woman to woman, generation to generation, and finally, Luma, a child of 6. Her laughter was rare in a world of fear, but when it came, it was a reminder of why they endured. Children were fragile. Half would not survive beyond 10. But every child who lived carried the future of the group. Luma was more than a girl. She was hope itself. 5 lives, each different, each vital. Through them, we will see not only how humans survived, but how they began to become human. The day begins, as all days begin, with the search for food. In this age, food cannot be stored. There are no fields of grain, no livestock, no permanent supply. What the tribe gathers and hunts each day must sustain them, or they risk starvation. The women and children move out first, baskets woven from reeds slung across their backs. They carry digging sticks, sharpened wooden poles hardened in fire. With these, they probe the earth for tubers and roots. Some are rich with starch, others bitter and poisonous. Over generations, Naya, the healer, has learned to tell them apart. Her eyes scan for small signs invisible to others. The curl of a leaf, the color of a stem. Her hands move with practiced certainty, pulling food from the soil. This knowledge is as important as any spear. Without it, the tribe would not survive. Children gather berries, tasting them carefully before dropping them into baskets. Luna's small fingers stain with juice as she imitates the older women, giggling when she finds a sweet fruit. Elsewhere, men sharpen their weapons. Tarek crouches with a flint flake in hand. He strikes carefully, shaping the point of his spear. The stone fragments fall in sharp shards, each edge dangerous even to touch. Flint knapping is an art passed silently, hand to hand. A single mistake can ruin the tool. When complete, he binds the point with sinew, strands pulled from animal tendon, and resin melted from tree sap. This is not simply a stick. It is a composite tool, the product of knowledge, patience, and skill. The spear is light enough to carry, strong enough to kill, and fragile enough to break. For the tribe, it is everything. But hunting is never certain. The men crouch in the grass, watching the distant herd. Antelope move like waves, ears twitching, legs ready to flee at the faintest sound. To approach is to risk being seen. To chase is to risk failure. Persistence hunting is their only advantage, unlike lions. They cannot sprint. Unlike cheetahs, they cannot leap. But unlike their prey, humans sweat. Sweat cools the body, allowing them to run longer than almost any animal on Earth, step by step. They exhaust the antelope. Hours of pursuit wear it down until it collapses, unable to continue. But it is brutal. The hunters must endure heat, thirst, and pain. Their muscles burn, their lungs ache. Failure means not only wasted time, but wasted energy. In this world, wasted energy can mean death. So they wait, watch, and prepare. This is the rhythm of their lives, gathering, hunting, enduring. But even greater than hunger is the fear of night. As the sun sinks, shadows stretch long across the savanna. The warmth fades. The endless sky burns red, then purple, then black. The tribe huddles close together, spears clutched tight. They know what darkness brings. Hyenas circle at the edges of vision, their laughter cutting through the silence like knives. Archaeological sites confirm their threat. Human bones cracked open, marrow sucked clean. tooth marks etched into skulls. To hyenas, early humans were not hunters. They were prey. Lions stalk without sound, eyes glinting faintly in the dark. A pride can strike like a storm, swift, unstoppable, merciless. Leopards slip silently through the branches. In ancient caves, archaeologists have uncovered human remains gnawed by leopards, proof that in this age, we were not always the top predator. The fireless night is long. Koro sits awake, listening to every rustle, every crack in the brush. He grips his spear, though he knows it offers little against the power of jaws and claws. His scar is reminder enough of how close death always is. Tarek crouches near him, eyes fixed on the dark, body tense as a drawn bow. Naya holds Luma tight. The child trembles with fear, her wide eyes darting at every sound. For her, the night is terror itself. For her mother, it is helplessness. The agony of knowing she cannot shield her daughter from everything. And Aru, he looks upward. The sky blazes with stars, brighter than we can imagine today, untouched by artificial light. For him, the darkness is not only fear, it is mystery. The movements of the heavens speak questions he cannot answer, questions that may one day become myths, gods, stories. But tonight, those questions are drowned by fear. The tribe is silent. Their breaths are shallow. They wait. They endure. For in this world, the night does not belong to humans. It belongs to predators. The night deepened. The predators still circled, but another force gathered above. At first, it was the wind. It swept across the plains in sudden gusts, flattening the grass, rattling branches. The air grew heavy, thick with the promise of change. Then came the clouds, black and immense. They swallowed the stars. The bright sky that had given Aru comfort became an ocean of shadow. The tribe shifted uneasily. Storms were not new, but they were never safe. The first flash of lightning came without warning. A white vein tore the heavens, illuminating the savanna for an instant. Every blade of grass, every tree, every frightened face lit as if by day. Thunder followed, a sound so deep it shook the ground, rolling endlessly across the land. The tribe cried out, huddling closer. For early humans, lightning was not science. It was power. It was spirit. It was the voice of gods they did not yet name. Each flash turned night into day. Each rumble vibrated in their chests. The predators paused, confused, unsettled. The humans cowered, and then destiny struck. A bolt tore through the sky, brighter, closer, fiercer than any before. It struck an acacia with explosive force. The tree split open. Bark and branches burst outward. Flames leapt upward into the rain. The tribe screamed. Some fell to their knees. To them, this was more than weather. This was power alive, devouring wood and grass with hunger, fire. They had seen it before. From a distance, grasslands consumed by flame, animals fleeing, smoke choking the air. To them, fire was destruction, merciless and untouchable. But this time, it was close. Not a sweeping inferno, but a single tree, burning against the storm. And one among them saw something more, Aru. The dreamer's eyes reflected the orange glow. His mouth opened in awe. He stepped forward, drawn not by fear, but by wonder. Where others shrank back, Aru leaned closer. He saw possibility. The storm that terrified them all had given them a gift. The flames raged, hissing as rain struck them. But they endured. Tarek, the hunter, looked to Koro. The chief hesitated, torn between fear and need. Then, with a nod, He gave silent permission. Tarek approached the tree. The heat seared his skin, forcing him to turn his face. He reached with his spear, snapping off a burning branch. Sparks showered. The wood blazed, alive in his hands. He recoiled at first, the instinct to drop it, to flee, almost irresistible, but he held firm. Aru joined him, eyes wide. Together, they wrapped the branch in animal hide, smothering the flames but preserving the ember. Smoke curled upward, glowing faintly in the dark. Archaeological evidence shows that early humans did not yet know how to create fire. They could not strike sparks, could not drill wood to flame, but they learned to keep fire alive, carrying embers from place to place, feeding them with grass and bark, preserving them as precious as life itself. That night, for this tribe, carrying fire meant carrying the future. The ember glowed faintly, wrapped in hide. Smoke drifted upward, fragile as breath. The tribe gathered, forming a circle in the grass. For a moment, they hesitated. The ember was alive, unpredictable. But Koro, the chief, placed dry grass near it, then small twigs. Tarek blew gently, coaxing the ember to flame. A spark leapt. A flicker. Then fire. The flames rose, orange and gold, dancing against the night. Shadows stretched and moved, painting the savanna with shapes that seemed alive. The tribe gasped. Some recoiled, fearing it might leap upon them. Others leaned closer, mesmerized. Fire gave light where there had been only darkness. It gave warmth where there had been only cold. It gave safety where there had been only fear. Naya reached forward, sprinkling herbs onto the flames. The smoke carried a strange, sweet scent. Was it ritual, protection, or simply instinct? Archaeologists believe such acts may have been the beginnings of ceremony, of giving meaning to fire beyond survival. Luma laughed, her small hands reaching toward the warmth. Where others trembled, she saw wonder. The fire lit her smile, reflected in her eyes, and Aru, the dreamer, sat nearest. His face glowed in the firelight, eyes wide, lips whispering words. To Luma, he told simple tales of the storm, of the tree, of the flame. Perhaps these were the first stories told by firelight around flames like this. Humanity would invent myth, share memory, and imagine futures. The fire circle was more than survival. It was the first classroom, the first theater, the first sanctuary. But the savannah was not done testing them. From the dark came laughter, shrill, mocking, merciless. Hyenas. Their glowing eyes circled just beyond the light. The tribe froze. On every night before, they had cowered, helpless against predators. But this night, something had changed. Koro rose. In his hand, he raised a torch, a branch lit from the flames. Sparks flew as he shook it high. Tarek followed, torch blazing. The men advanced together, faces lit in orange, eyes fierce. The hyenas snarled, confused. Fire was not prey. Fire was not predator. It was something new, something terrible, something alive. The hunters shouted, thrusting torches forward. Sparks rained into the grass. The hyenas turned. They backed away, whining, retreating into the night. For the first time, the tribe did not flee the predators of darkness. The predators fled them. This was a revolution. Fire was not only light. It was weapon. It was shield. And with it, humans claimed the night. With fire, everything changed. The night grew shorter. The cold less cruel. Food became more nourishing. Meat roasted, roots softened, parasites killed. More calories, more energy, more life. Scientists believe cooking was one of the greatest leaps in human history, fueling the growth of larger brains, sharper thought, deeper culture. But fire gave more than food. It gave time. For the first time, the tribe sat awake after dark, not in fear, but in safety. They shared meat, passed tools, whispered stories. Around flames, they taught, they learned, they dreamed. The fire circle became humanity's first hearth. It was home, no matter where the tribe wandered. For Koro, fire was protection. For Tarek, it was strength. For Naya, it was ritual. For Luma, it was joy. And for Aru, it was vision. The storm had brought terror. The night had brought fear. But fire had brought transformation. This was not only survival. This was the beginning of culture, of story, of imagination. The first fire was not the last. Across continents, across generations, embers were carried, flames were preserved, knowledge was passed. From this fragile moment in the savannah night came the spark that would one day light every hearth, every forge, every city. The story of humanity began with stone and struggle, but it rose with fire. This was the first step, the first spark, the beginning of us. What you've seen today is just one step in a journey that stretches across time. A journey that belongs to all of us. If you wish to continue walking with them, to witness the next chapter of survival, fire, and discovery, subscribe now. In our next episode, the hunt begins. A test of endurance, skill, and the unyielding will to survive. This is not just their story. This is our story.